Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from whatever time zone you may be in. This is Off the Grid Podcast with Aiden and Jared.
Getting authorized access to the truth.
And in this episode, we are talking about something that we've been wanting to discuss. It's consistent with what has been going on right now.
Yes.
And we've been gathering more information as time has been passing here, since the incident occurred. And what we're
Yes.
discussing is racism in America.
Yes.
But we're specifically talking about what
George Floyd.
started all of this controversy in the first place, and that is George Floyd's death,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. If you guys are living under a rock or haven't heard, basically what happened is that in Minneapolis, a black man by the name of George Floyd was arrested by Minneapolis police officers.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them murdered him by placing his knee onto his neck for, I think it was 8 minutes and 49 seconds.
Yeah, I believe that was right.
Until he promptly died.
Yeah.
And none of the other officers jumped in to help him, to help get the officer off his back. A lot of people believe it was racially motivated.
Right.
So it has now sparked protests and riots across the whole nation.
Yeah, it's the reaction to the killing of George Floyd has been crazy.
Yeah.
Just the amount of people that have responded to this tragic incident.
Yeah.
And I honestly did not think it was going to be that much of a response, on the level that it has been.
Yeah. Me neither. This is completely out of this world. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has been fueled by the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yes. Well,
the group, they really have kept it going, because if it wasn't for the Black Lives Matter group, it may have fizzled off earlier.
Yeah.
Because I think it needs organization, and since that group is organized, it really helped them keep the protest going,
Yeah, and we had a protest here in Hartville, right, Jared?
Right. And
what
did you see when we were there, Aiden?
I saw a bunch of people shouting and holding up signs.
Yeah.
Oh, and apparently there was someone that drove behind a pickup truck with a Confederate flag.
Yeah.
Which, that's just stupid in my opinion, but yeah.
Yeah, it's
and someone was arrested too.
Yeah, it's people are being really stupid right now, and it's just, they can't just have a regular protest, a peaceful protest. It seems like everything's got to have some weird twist to it, whether it's completely violent or or something like someone driving a flag, like a Confederate flag through a group of Black Lives Matter protesters,
Yeah.
It's just, that's bad.
It's stupid. It's stupid.
Yeah.
So, Joe, we were going to get into this, right?
Right.
What we were going to get into is that the concept of this, I think, has been a boiling point for literally 200 plus years.
Right. Yeah, it's been an issue that we've always had to deal with, but things have gotten better, in my opinion, over the years. I think there, obviously racism is still there, and it hasn't gone away by any stretch of the imagination, but it has gotten better for the Black community.
Yeah.
As a whole, you know what I mean? It went from, Black people were enslaved in America, that where slavery was legal, and then eventually it got abolished, and then and then in the 1960s, things started.
The boys movement.
Yeah,
Martin
things
Luther King Jr.
Yeah, Martin Luther King Jr. That's all things that really helped move America forward and out of it really improved
Segregation.
a lot.
Yeah. But, and I'm going to get into this in a little bit, but I think there was still racism in this country. And
Oh
not
yeah,
just on a personal level.
there's no doubt about it that racism still exists in America. Yeah, I'm not disputing that.
Yeah.
So
So we're
yeah,
gonna have a
sorry.
lot of topics we want to discuss tonight, right, Jared?
Right. Well,
Like going to this, but
it's more so just Aiden and I discussing our thoughts on
an opinion.
the whole situation, thoughts and opinions on the whole situation. And Aiden and I have talked extensively about this topic. And so it's not like
we disagree on some stuff too, actually, funnily enough, guys.
Yeah,
So you're gonna be
surprisingly,
maybe
we
see us get a
actually,
little bit angry tonight, maybe.
yeah,
Not angry, but a little heated.
yeah, it at first when we first started discussing it, it was definitely more heated that time around because we really had different views on it. But now we've started to come to more of a conclusion of where we can meet in the middle on things.
Yeah.
So that's what we need to do, as especially as best friends and
Yes.
and fellow podcasters.
Yes, sir.
So
and Christians.
Yeah. I feel like that's the best thing to do in this type of situation. So,
Yes.
but anyways, before we move on real quick, I just wanted to mention, I don't know if you guys realized, I think I put it in the last video or I mean, our last podcast, I believe, where I mentioned something about how our numbering of our episodes were a little screwed up there.
Yeah, so sorry about that, guys. It was a mess up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I could have sworn that I was like, I counted everything. Apparently I can't count.
Maybe it was a YouTube thing. It got messed up.
I don't know. It's like I just as we were sorry, I was looking at my phone a little bit here while we were trying to talk.
We're looking at the stats, right? Or something
but
like
I was trying to fix
YouTube?
No, I was trying to fix something here because I was looking at it again because I was going to mention something about the numbering, and then I realized that the numbers were still off, the episode numbers. Like, goodness gracious, how many times I got to update it? Someone's screwing with us, honestly.
Oh, YouTube's hacking us.
Yeah, it's like, what is going on? It's like, can I just get the episode number right? I'm like counting correctly.
Please.
Yeah, please. So, by the way, this should be if I'm actually counting right, because I'm looking at my phone right now. It should be episode 40. This one right here.
It should be, guys. Yes.
Should be. Now, if it's not, then we
oh my gosh. If it's episode 52, like what?
And how many times I got to fix this? All right.
Right? Oh my gosh, it's a constant struggle, guys. Being YouTubers ain't easy.
Nope. And podcasters in general.
But hey, we got a few more subscribers since our last video.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
We actually have. So thank you to our listeners who have supported us a lot recently, especially because we've been getting a lot of comments. Really good comments, some good feedback, and that really does help our channel grow.
Yes. And before we dive into this, so how can they find us?
So you guys can find us right here on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel and click that little notification bell, and then you'll be notified when we post a new episode. Ding!
Yes.
And don't forget to please give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and just give us a comment if you guys have anything you want to say related to our topic, or you could just give us a podcast idea, like, something we forgot to cover and we're like, oh, you know what, that would be something interesting to
we need to make a part 2 to that or something like that.
Yeah. Like, just let us know.
And share. Don't forget to share.
Yeah, and share it on your social media pages, so then you can help spread the word of Off the Grid.
Yes. And we do have our own pages too, guys. So follow those too to be notified too. If you don't have YouTube, I mean.
Yeah, and don't forget, there will be a link at the end of this video that you guys can just click over to it. We do have a gaming channel as well, so do check that out.
Thank you.
All right. So, anyways, let's hop on to this topic, shall we?
Yes, let's dive in.
All right. So we got to start deciphering what is going on in the world of the crazy world that we live in right now.
Well, what topic do you want to talk about first, though?
So first,
you want to start off with the light topics and dive deeper.
Yeah, let's do that. So
the lightest one, in my opinion, I think is, in my opinion, I don't know if I want to talk about it first, but in my opinion, it's like the whole flag debate. There's the lightest in my opinion.
I don't know. Let's save that for later on.
Okay.
Okay. So
you guys know that is later then. You know what we're talking about.
let's just get into what brought us here today to talk about.
Oh,
this.
okay, yeah. Sounds
let's
great.
do that instead.
I'm getting
so
ahead of
anyways,
myself here.
so anyways, so the reason why we're discussing racism in America is based off of one thing, and like we mentioned, George Floyd dying.
Yes.
And he died at the hands of a police officer that was, cutting off his air to his air to his brain. He couldn't breathe, let alone
That's one of the
brain. So
slogans.
yeah, well, I
One of the
can't
slogans
breathe.
of the force is like, I can't breathe. Yeah.
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 So that's what brought us here, and but there's been, you'd think that like the police officer would have had good reason to put pressure on his neck. It's a chokehold, is what they call it.
In jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, it's a method used by police officers, and
yes, and not just by police officers. Guys, trust me, I do martial arts.
Yeah,
as you guys might have, I know I do jiu-jitsu, and let me tell you, what he did right there, that is a nasty, nasty hold he had on him.
Yeah,
trust me.
Isn't that like
nasty hold?
Isn't that like more of a last resort? Not really wanting to.
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't normally do like an arm bar, something like that, but that was a nasty move he did.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if he knew jiu-jitsu or not, but it sure as heck looked like he knew what he was doing there. That was a nasty move.
Yeah.
Right there.
Well,
that
I think
move,
that
move he only resort to knocking someone out or killing them.
Yeah. I think all police officers, though, are trained to do chokeholds. I do believe.
Yeah.
I'm
they're not
entirely
well-done
sure.
ones, but they're not well-done ones. But like I've been saying, I'm gonna say this again: all police officers, it should be mandatory that they train in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So they don't have to resort to killing anyone.
Yeah. So let's discuss exactly what the problem is, what the different controversies are about this whole like police officers using chokeholds. George Floyd's death specifically.
Yeah.
And what surrounds, how did this stuff go down? Because normally this stuff does not happen. At all, and people are acting like this is more common than what it actually is.
Yeah.
I don't have the stats to back that up exactly at this moment, but I can assure you that this does not happen as often as you think, because the media.
Police officers don't walk down the street and see a black man's like, oh, I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah, and you'll agree with me on this, Aiden, probably, that the media has been.
Oh, they have buttered this up to something that like make it seem like it's the worst crime in humanity.
Which it's really bad, but the problem is that they're portraying it as all police officers are evil. They all are racist. They all are violent against. Man. They're always going out there trying to kill a black man. It's wrong. That they would even claim that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just. It's really up to the media to report the correct information.
They're not reporting, really.
No,
I don't think.
It's just opinionated stuff.
Yep.
They're using the facts, and they're like, well, even though the facts say that this doesn't happen very often, we're gonna say
construe it.
Yeah, we're gonna say that it happens a lot.
Yep.
No, it's they really lie to the public, and then the public, it really has a big impact on. Yeah,
it eats it up.
Yeah, they eat it up, and they overreact, especially to this type of stuff. So, like, if
burning down a whole city, Minneapolis.
I mean, the media really plays a role in an influence in what people are doing here at these protests. People are blaming, all sorts of different people. They're blaming, the police. They're blaming Trump.
For whatever reason, but like he had anything to do with it.
Yeah, it's like he wasn't out there. It's like whatever, and then they're blaming every police officer. Like, why? Not every police officer is evil. That's
Right.
that's a false statement right there. You
Mhm.
know, I mean, what's your whole thought on the police officer situation? What do you honestly think that police officers are evil?
No, not at all. Not at all. 99% of them are good, upstanding citizens.
Right.
They're there to do one thing: protect and serve.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you this, Jared. And we didn't talk about this during the discussion before the night, but I was going to tell you, I think there should be more psychological evaluations before you can become an officer.
Yeah. We discussed that the other day, and I agree with you on that. Yeah, it's definitely that goes. I remember we were discussing defunding the police, right?
Yeah,
And
that I don't agree with that. First of all.
first of all, that's completely
Well, that's
wrong
stupid.
because what's going to happen? Defunding the police as
Anarchy.
it's going to create anarchy. It's mostly going to hit hard in those impoverished neighborhoods that you're trying to save.
Yeah.
I mean, really, you think you're trying to help these impoverished neighborhoods, but you're not,
You're destroying them.
because the police officers do a great deal of work in trying to protect everybody and trying to keep order in the city. And I mean, especially if it's happening in cities, it's probably even worse,
Oh gosh, can you imagine Chicago right now?
Oh yeah, dude, it's messed up. Just like what happened over in Seattle or something, right?
The Chaz zone, yeah.
It's
Or
messed
Cotton
up.
zone, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, the whole point is that police officers are
They aren't
not.
evil.
They
They're
aren't
just not
evil.
evil.
I
That's
mean,
all there is
it's
to it.
all there is to it, and the media plays it as there are evil, and then people are overreacting, thinking we need to defund the police. That's not the answer. The answer
No.
is, to me, in a middle ground here. Instead of completely going to the extreme and saying get rid of police officers, let's do some psychological testing on these people,
Yes.
because there
Let's
are
make sure psychopaths don't get into the police force.
yeah. Because I mean, this one guy that killed George
Southern
Floyd,
racists. Yeah.
He had
Gosh, what was
some.
his name? I want to say Dennis or something like that.
Let me look him up real quick.
Yeah. We have
Let's see.
screen sharing, guys, so we will actually be able to show you.
Oh, I can look. I was looking on my phone. Sorry, hold up.
Yeah.
Man who
killed George Floyd? Yeah.
George
Killed wife and 2 daughters.
What?
Yeah. Saw that.
Oh crap! It's under the New York Times. Whatever. I don't like the. I hate the
Derek
Times,
Chauvin,
but
I think is his name. Derek Chauvin.
Is that what it is?
I think so. Yeah, Derek Chauvin. Chauvin. Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, oh shoot, no.
Yeah. So his name is Derek.
Yeah.
Derek is a psychopath.
Right. Yeah. So,
And they should
anyways,
not have. Yeah. So that's the dude's name, Derek.
so that person had multiple write-ups for different incidents.
Yeah.
So that's a red flag right there, right? You'd think that you'd think the police department would possibly investigate why this guy keeps getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Because
But nope.
No, they let him do his normal stuff, and this is what happens. This whole situation could have been avoided
if he was fired.
If he was fired beforehand, but no. This they didn't investigate. This is what happens.
Minneapolis Police Department, you guys are stupid.
Yeah, you guys should have investigated that and had that problem done beforehand, but
he walked around thinking that he was a god.
Yeah, history's already
he could end life.
It's already been done, so you can't undo the damage, but you can certainly, moving forward, do psychological testing and hopefully weed out these bad eggs.
Yeah.
Because I think this guy probably had mental issues. I would assume.
Obviously.
I mean, I don't know if they're going to do any testing on, like psychological testing on him or not. Like,
They
at all.
can't.
But
Oh, wait, yeah, they can. He's not the one that's dead. Never mind. Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know, but
Needs to be locked up.
that'll be interesting to look into if they
Yeah.
find that he had some
Health issues, mental
health
health.
issues of So the controversy of this death is interesting
The real
because
controversy.
they believe that this guy was the first thing that they jumped to was that it was a racist act,
Racially motivated, yes.
racially motivated, and then there's some more data that's coming out, some more news that got leaked from this is that he supposedly knew him from
a nightclub, right?
From a nightclub, yeah, they used to work at or something.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, there's like some sort of, since they knew each other, maybe there's some disagreement, but
something.
yeah, it's like, but everything immediately when it's a white man and a black man and something bad happens,
We first of all think racism.
yeah, and that's horrible that we think that way, but that's the first thing that they jump to.
Yeah.
So yeah, so anyways, oh crap, I lost my train of thought. Anyways, what's your thought on the whole controversy? What do you think it actually is? Because I think
it is. I think it is racially motivated. I don't think it would have seen that if it was a white man. I honestly don't.
You don't think so?
No. There are multiple factors, though, such as the dude George Floyd was in the process of committing a crime and he was arrested, though. So it's not like this dude was a perfectly Bible thumping person. He was going to counterfeit a $20 bill.
Right.
When they arrested him. That still doesn't give you the right, though, to end his life in no way, shape, or form.
Yeah, there was no reason for the violence that happened during that.
You should have cuffed him and brought him in like normal.
Yeah, he wasn't I don't think it was resisting arrest or anything.
Right, nothing, yeah.
So.
And he was only 46. George Floyd was only 46. He had a lot of life ahead of him.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
But speaking of violence.
Right.
The aftermath of this arrest and killing, what's been happening?
So protests have been breaking out, and they started out peacefully.
Yeah.
And then it started, some of these protests, not all of them, some of them have resorted to violent rioting and looting.
Yeah.
And especially in cities like, say, Cleveland or New York. Or
it's a big one.
Yeah, stuff like that. And
people have been setting buildings on fire, flipping cars over.
Yeah, like how is that right? That you go from, peaceful protesting, which is peaceful protesting is fine, but then going over to violent, riots and looting buildings, people's livelihood is at stake.
Yeah.
It's messed up.
You want to pull up a video of one of them really quick? Do we got time?
I can try.
What these people have been doing? It's like crazy, dude.
Yeah, let me just see.
NBC News has a good article. Type in George Floyd riot NBC News. They have a good video. They got a good video. They actually do have a good video. And I'll tell you which one. They got a really good video. And then I'll show you which one it is. Go to the videos tab. Go to the videos tab. Keep going down. I think it's... Oh, that one. Escalated protest nationwide. This is a good one. This is a really good one, guys. You'll enjoy this. You might enjoy this, might not.
The situation here in Santa Monica, California is very fluid. You can see police here now firing tear gas into the crowd. They are trying to push these folks back. Earlier today,
Haven't seen this,
just a
Joey?
few blocks away,
Mm-mm.
there was looting underway nearby. Police seem to have had enough.
The nation erupted into scenes of chaos,
Oh gosh.
violence, and widespread destruction into the early morning hours. Dozens of
Isn't that
American
crazy,
cities up in
It
flames
is.
after some protests turned into riots,
Oh gosh. Flipping a call
often
over. What the
followed by
heck?
looting as the nation simmering with unrest unraveled.
How long can you be peaceful when your people are dying?
In Los Angeles, hours before a curfew was ordered, the city became a war zone. After attempting to breach television studios, large groups torched police cruisers as officers fired back with rubber bullets.
Jeez.
Before nightfall, the looting began. Department stores, jewelers, and high-end apparel shops trashed by unruly mobs. The mayor calling on the governor to dispatch the National Guard for the first time since the Rodney King riots in 1992.
Los
Strikingly
Angeles.
similar scenes and issues
Wow.
of injustice, 28 years apart.
We've seen this before in Los Angeles. When the violence escalates, no one wins.
After 3 nights of protest and violence, the state of emergency in Los Angeles mirrored by pockets of anarchy nationwide, described as all hell breaking loose in Seattle when police lost control
You know what's
of
happening in Seattle
downtown,
now?
crowds
Yeah.
destroyed, then took over their vehicles. This video capturing one man removing a high-powered
Jeez.
police rifle before a plainclothes security guard disarmed the man, clearing the magazine.
Good.
But there was
Yeah,
also
good. He coulda
troubling
killed
scenes
people with
caught
that.
on camera at the hands of police. This video appearing to show an officer putting his knee on the neck of someone taken into custody
What?
before another officer pulls his leg off.
Good job on that
A
little
shocking
officer.
scene after the death of George Floyd, why so many poured into the streets.
We can't peacefully protest in the streets without getting tear gas thrown at us for what?
With
Those aren't
demonstrators out
peaceful
in force
protests,
again
you ding
today,
dong.
a violent
Those are
takedown in
riots.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, there's a
Foot
difference.
Locker was looted after more than a dozen officers were injured there last night. With tear gas choking the streets of Miami, police battled protesters to keep control of their headquarters.
Sorry, you deserve it if
With
you're
Batesburg,
doing all this
Rioting, yeah.
violent stuff.
I mean, look at this violence. I mean, look at this.
There was more than 1,000 arrests.
I like how she said it was peaceful protest. I'm like, there was nothing peaceful about that.
Right, yeah, no.
To a crowd from a crossbow before he was mobbed by a nearby group. In Tallahassee, Florida, someone drove through a protest after their pickup truck was surrounded by a crowd. The National Guard is moving into Chicago after clashes between protesters and police.
In this city, we care for each other. This is a time for us to unite.
Tonight, a nation on edge and up in smoke as many plead for peace in the wake of yet another violent night.
The cat and mouse game here in Santa Monica continues. You can see police are ready to move in on all these protesters again. The curfew starts in less than 30 minutes. Scenes like this are playing out all across the nation as the National Guard moves in.
Wow.
So what's your view on that, Jared?
So it's pretty obvious that the that this whole protest thing has been misconstrued.
Yeah.
Because like that lady
You
said,
saw the
she's like,
chaos, guys.
yeah, I mean, it was clear as day. Like you see it right on the screen there that things were violent, that it didn't look peaceful to me.
Mm-mm.
And maybe that's the way NBC wants to portray all of these protests. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that was just how it was, but it didn't seem very peaceful to me. And
They were flipping on car, for goodness sake.
yeah. So, and that one lady says, like, we're just trying to peaceful protest, and then we're getting tear gassed. It's like, okay, well, how about you don't get
Set
violent, and
cars
then you'll
on
be
fire.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're there in the vicinity of, say, you're just doing a peaceful protest, and some Nimrod comes in, joins the protest, and starts getting violent, people start to join in, and you're just trying to do a peaceful one, and you get tear gas, well, that was on you for being there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sorry, but you know that you knew that this stuff could possibly happen. I
Yeah.
mean, you just look to the past.
Yeah.
and see previous, protests, and they've turned just as violent. And
Yeah. The situation in Seattle, though, we could talk about it right now because it's close to what's the writings. It's the same kind of topic.
Yeah.
But do you want to talk about what's happening in Seattle really quick?
Yeah, sure.
So let's explain this. So basically, a certain part of Seattle has had, for a couple of weeks now, they drove out the police entirely.
Right.
And they have made their own little, they call it the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. Right?
Yeah, I believe so.
You want to pull up some pictures of it? So, oh shoot!
I don't think there's any sound.
Yeah, that's okay. So this is in
Oh wait,
Seattle,
no, there
guys.
is. Let's restart that.
If we all just kind of turn this into a little living community, like those of us who have made, I know concrete and stuff, but if you have an air mattress or something, or yoga mats, lots of blankets and
Pallet to elevate.
Lawn chairs. Lawn
I know, I'm gonna put
Lawn chairs.
Why are you talking about lawn chairs?
Lawn chairs.
These people like get a kick out of it or something.
Oh wait, are they trying to debate what they want? So they have an article.
Yeah.
What did that say? On June 8th, police frantically loaded what they could from the East Precinct into trucks and cars. Within hours, they boarded up and abandoned the station. That night, left-wing protesters from Black Lives Matter and Antifa declared ownership of the 6-block neighborhood in the middle of the Pacific Northwest largest city. They named their new territory the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, or CHAZ. No laws or rules applied here except for one: no cops allowed. During 5 undercover days and nights in the zone, I witnessed a continuing experiment in anarchy, chaos, and brute force criminality. In order to avoid being exposed as a journalist, several reporters have been barred or expelled. I slept and showered outside the zone. Those inside have no showers, but they do have portable bathrooms. I took meals and most of my water breaks elsewhere because I was elected to remove my mask and risk being recognized. Every day I enter the zone twice through its semi-porous borders, once in the early afternoon and again after sundown, staying until the wee hours. Crime has surged inside and outside the zone. On Saturday morning, a shooting erupted that left at least one person dead and another injured near a border checkpoint. Police were reportedly met with resistance when they tried to get to the victims, who apparently were then taken in private cars to the hospital. Cops made it into the zone to gather shell casings and evidence, some reports said, as police in riot gear stood at the border. On Thursday, police arrested Robert James after he left the CHAZ. He is accused of sexually assaulting a deaf woman who was lured inside a tent. Oh, shoot. The same day, former city council candidate Isaiah Willoughby was arrested on suspicion of stunning the arson attack on the East Precinct on June 12th. Police Chief Carmen Best has stated that police response times to 9/11 calls in the surrounding area have more than tripled because the force is down a station. Emergency calls, which often means somebody's being assaulted, sometimes it's a rape, sometimes it's a robbery, but something bad is happening. If it's a top priority call, we're not able to get there, she has said. Various Occupy-type protests have occurred across the U.S. since the original occupation near Wall Street in 2011, but the CHAZ is nothing like the mostly peaceful tent city and privately owned Zuccotti Park that was crowded and closely monitored by the NYPD. CHAZ occupants ranging from several hundred to 10,000, depending on the day, with many openly armed, control all of the Capitol Hill neighborhood near downtown. The neighborhood is the heart of Seattle's gay and counterculture district. That's interesting. And is densely filled with businesses and apartment buildings. The CHAZ now claims all of it. Before the takeover, violent clashes between rioters and police defending the East Precinct resulted in dozens of officers injured by rocks and other projectiles. Protesters and rioters complained of police brutality, leading Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkin and Best to ban cops from using tear gas, pepper spray, and flashbangs for 30 days. The CHAZ is having reverberating effects elsewhere. In the early hours of Thursday, Antifa and other left-wing protesters established an autonomous zone in downtown Portland, Oregon. And they stole city and business property to build a wall. At least one protester was seen carrying a rifle. The area was later cleared by police, but far-left activists are determined to try it again.
Oh my God.
Protesters in Nashville and other cities have attempted to recreate their own autonomous zones modeled after the Chaz, but have so far been stopped by law enforcement.
Good.
In Seattle, as soon as police evacuated from the station nearly 2 weeks ago, masked protesters stole city property, barricades, fencing, and more to create makeshift barriers. These barriers became the official border checkpoints in and out of the Chaz. They were later fortified with additional layers of security, more blockades, and 24-hour guards. A large team of volunteers assembled to designate themselves security for the Chaz. Many of them were patches signaling they're part of the Puget Sound John Brown Gun Club, a far-left militia-type organization named after the radical abolitionists. Last year, one of the group's members carried out an armed attack on an immigration and customs enforcement facility in Tacoma, Washington. Police said Willem Van Swanson tried to unlink the 500-gallon propane tank attached to the facility. He was killed by police.
So I think that's pretty much all we need to read about it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we get the idea here that this is this is crazy. I mean,
This is complete anarchy.
yeah, who knew that they would be starting these zones that are just controlled by left-wing protesters and Antifa?
Yeah.
Like this is just, it's horrible. I mean, and the police officers can't do anything about it. It's like, I don't know.
They get shot.
This needs to stop. They just really need to go in there and take them out.
Yeah.
Arrest everyone.
Or send in the military and shoot them.
Yeah, something. I don't know. Just get them out of there. It's like, why are you... The U.S. could, stop this
This is
at any
reminding me of
time.
Civil War. This is reminding me of actual war stuff, dude.
Yeah, really.
Like, seriously.
It's crazy. I can't believe that's an actual thing. It kind of reminds me of like The Walking Dead or something.
Oh my gosh, right?
I don't know. It's just like it's kind of scary, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think like, why you don't see that sort of stuff all the time.
Mm-mm.
So very rare.
This is one of the things that makes it worse than other protests across the years too.
Yeah.
Like you have a group of anarchists that are controlling basically a city,
Yeah.
and like they're doing whatever they want.
Yep.
Joe, what would you do if you were living in Seattle?
Well, I would get out of there.
But there were checkpoints.
Well, no, I wouldn't. No, I mean like that area.
Yeah.
If I was, just in the state or something.
Yeah.
And because the whole city isn't like that, I don't think. It's like just a part of it, right?
Yeah. It might be the
So-
whole city soon, though, if it keeps getting any worse.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why, like, even if I was on the outskirts of Chaz, I would be
Yeah.
I'd be trying to get out of there as soon as I can.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I don't want my family being harmed. Like, what if they come in and try to rob us?
Yeah.
And the police
It's
are
like
probably not going. The police are probably not going to be able to handle all of these, all of these like 911 calls.
Well, you know what I'm saying to let them do?
What?
I mean, send in the military, secure the block area around where it is, 6 block area, fence it off, and let them do what they want. Oh, but make sure they don't have power.
Oh yeah,
And let's see how long they last.
yeah. That's a good idea. Instead of going in there and trying to shoot everybody or arrest everyone, just let them weed themselves out.
Yeah.
If they don't have power to that portion of the city,
Yeah.
that's a good idea. They're not
Yeah.
going to last very long. They're going to be having like campfires out on the middle of the road trying to stay warm, and
Yeah.
how are we gonna get food?
Yeah.
They're
They're
just
actually
gonna-
growing their own food, actually.
They are.
Yeah. They're gardens are growing food, yeah.
That's ridiculous. That's crazy.
That means they can sustain themselves, but I mean,
That's not gonna last.
what
them,
happens
though.
when the food from the stores runs out? Yeah.
Yeah,
To grow it. When the seeds run out, I mean. Yeah.
that's wow.
That's my idea. Send in the National Guard, fence off the area, shut off the power and let them kill each other.
Yeah, so I can agree with that. Yeah. So the last thing we just mentioned, the Confederate flag, and
Yeah.
I guess it was possibly driven through Hartville when they had the protests. But
So
the whole controversy of that has been going on for years now, as far as I can remember, and it's been a sense of pride for some people, and then other people have seen it as a very racist symbol.
Yeah.
It just depends where you're from, generally, in my opinion.
Yes.
And because if you're not from the South, you're generally going to look at the Confederate flag as
racist.
a racist symbol, because the Confederates, they stood for trying to keep slavery going in the South.
But there was a reason for that, though.
Yes, and what is that reason?
Economy, mostly.
Right.
They didn't want to pay people to pick cotton. That's what was the moneymaker back then. The aristocrats, that's what they did.
Yeah.
They picked cotton fields, and they did not want, or sugar, whatever it was,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't want to have to pay for it. So slavery was the most economically sound option.
Right. And this has been going on for a long time in the U.S.
Oh, yes.
I mean, obviously, slavery goes back farther than just the U.S. Yeah, I mean, it's been going on since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
So that's where I have the issue with how people. I heard somewhere of someone saying that America started racism or something. Like
it's been around a lot longer.
Or started slavery, I guess, when they came to the U.S. in the 1600s. Or not the U.S., but America. Anyways,
U.S. is America.
Well, I mean, it was just America at the time, not the United States. So, so that's a very false allegation there, saying that the U.S.
started slavery.
No,
it's been around since Bible times.
Yeah, and that's same thing with the Confederate flag. It's part of. It's seen
as racist.
It's seen as racist, but it's also seen as a sense of pride if you're from the South.
Yes.
And
funnily enough, though, that flag that you saw, guys, that's not the actual original Confederate flag. That flag is actually the flag of the Army of Northern Virginia. Actually.
Yeah.
So that was only for one person, but that, if you don't know, the Army of Northern Virginia was the army that Robert E. Lee commanded. I'm sure you've heard that name.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why it's associated with the whole Confederacy as a whole, because Robert E. Lee was a famous general. So.
Right. Yeah. They wanted to establish their own country.
Yep.
So, yep. And, man, that would be crazy. I can only imagine, like, what if we were, like, two separate countries?
Yeah. It might be if this keeps going like this. I mean, I don't know, dude.
It's not going to be separate countries. It would be, like, separate areas that are not governed by the United States. It's like, how, like, the Native Americans have certain land that's, like, they're able to govern their own land?
Yeah.
Well, it would be like that, but with just, people, taking over parts of the city, and then the police can't do anything about it.
Kind of like the Jazz, but on a nationwide level.
Yeah, it's on a nationwide level. Like certain areas, you would have to go through checkpoints all the time to get where you need to go.
Jeez.
I mean, can you imagine? I mean, I didn't think about that until Aiden just brought it up, but like, that's possible if we don't put our foot down and say, no, this is not going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's kind of disturbing because the police and
fireworks.
Yeah, they've been doing that a lot lately. It's getting close to the 4th as of this recording.
You heard that?
No, I couldn't hear it here.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. I've been hearing a lot of fireworks too. Yeah. So, anyways, what was I saying? Okay. All right. Anyways.
There's a lot of zones. Yeah, like
there would be like different checkpoints and stuff like that. So it would we have to put our foot down. I mean, the United States has to stop this from happening. That's the only way to, like, you know, Trump and whoever, like local governments.
Yes.
You know, Trump needs to work with local governments and state governments and try to get, you know, this under control, because obviously Trump can't do it himself.
Yeah.
You know, it's up to Trump working with, you know, state leaders and local leaders to try to quell this, because they can quell it. I mean, it's not.
They have the power to.
They have the manpower to stop this from happening.
Yes.
You know, I mean, because the majority of people don't want to do this.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't think that the majority of people like you and me don't want to go like into an autonomous zone and like have our own rule. I mean, sure, yeah, it'd be kind of cool, like, woo, we're like,
it'd be fun.
But no,
you know me, but yeah.
Yeah, I know Aiden's like the master of
anarchy,
destruction, and anarchy.
No, but only for 2 hours though. Like if I'm really realistic with myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but no, I
have a
don't
little
want
bit of fun.
Yeah, I don't want to risk my life though. So
no.
I think it's a good idea to just avoid it.
Yeah.
So
now, okay. All in all, let's just say the Confederate flag's bad. All that rant there.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, not
about
bad.
that.
No, not bad. Sorry, no. It's split 50-50.
Right. Yeah, it's split. Yeah, it's split 50-50. I can't say that it's
it's good or bad. We don't have a.
Yeah, because it's different for everyone. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's not the Nazi flag.
Because
Nazi flag, everyone can look at that and be like, "Oh, that's racist. That's bad."
Because I'm conflicted on the issue myself, because I can say my opinion, say it's racist or it's a sense of pride for people, but
yeah,
I'm split 50-50 on it myself. So I can't say
that's what Ben
for a
Shapiro
fact.
said too.
Yeah.
Ben Shapiro said that.
Yeah, so I agree with Ben Shapiro on that, because I don't know how. It's just like, you know, how they say, well, you can't understand what the black people are going through if you aren't black.
We're gonna get into that too, yeah.
Which that's a good transition into that, because if you don't mind starting to talk about it now.
Yeah, let's do it. Well,
the train rolling.
This is really what we're gonna start to disagree, which is okay. We're gonna have a good debate here.
All right.
So I was telling Jared earlier that a lot of people seem to think that, maybe I'm paraphrasing it, but a lot of people seem to think that the black person has it easy in this country now, and that they're mostly taking care of them and stuff, you know. And I was telling him, listen, and Judd, I told you this. I told you and my other friend Nathan, we were walking, we were talking about this. All you have to do is go down to like Akron or a big city, you know, and there is clearly a division, and there's like an imaginary line.
Yeah.
There's the area where the rich people live, not rich, but like the wealthy, like good living people. And then there were the projects, where there's all the guns and drugs and, you know, violence and stuff.
Yeah.
You know? And to me, that's a form of systemic racism. Because I told him that there were a lot of places like that don't have good education. You know?
Okay.
And how, in my mind, it doesn't make sense that in the United States of America, the richest country on earth, a black kid can't get good education. You know?
Yeah.
And when I was telling Jared, guys, is I was telling him that that's a way that the system keeps those people down. But not allowing them to get a good education and sticking them in a crappy public school.
Yeah.
Jared, what was your take on that?
Well, I don't know. I really don't think that it's, I don't know. I'm not saying that it's necessarily not true, but I really don't know if we're how they're trying to portray us as purposely pushing them down, trying to keep them down.
Well, because they're not providing any social programs, they're not saying in any way how they can get ahead. We're not offering help, we're not, offering social programs or anything like that. When we easily could. We're the U.S., man.
But how do you know that we're not offering these services? Like,
Because
you got
the cities would be a lot better if we did.
you got places like Haven Arrest, Akron Canton Regional Food Bank. You got these types of businesses.
First of all, those are homes, and those are food banks. That's for people that have to. Let me ask you this: how degrading must it be to have to go to a food bank
you have to be pretty.
instead of having a stable job and making your money yourself
I don't know.
and order to buy food? You know what I mean?
I mean, you
That's
would
the
have
thing.
to.
This is the whole systemic racism thing. This is what we can easily afford programs for them and help them get back into the workforce. Give them good education, but we don't.
I don't know. Sounding like a socialist to me, Aiden.
I'm just seeing that these people have struggles and we're not helping. I mean, we're not helping. Okay, maybe not social program. Maybe that was the wrong word, but like something.
Yeah.
We need to be going, at least, the least thing we can do is go into these communities and talk to these people.
Right.
I'm
And
sure you agree with me on that.
I definitely think that we need to be going into talk to these people that you just don't know much about. Like, because
Right.
we were mentioning earlier, when it comes down to racism, it usually comes down to pre-existing notions that you learn from your mother and your father. And because racism is passed down, it seems like it's passed down through generations. Like,
Yeah,
it's
like older generations would be a lot more racist than we were.
yeah,
I mean, than we
because
are.
you'll see that in grandparents especially.
Oh,
I mean, even if they don't mean to be racist,
that's just how they were raised. That's the culture.
it was just normal at the time. I mean, we look back on it today and realize that was wrong to say those types of things. But older people, like in their 70s or 80s nowadays, they see that as a normal thing. They don't even think twice about it. You'll be sitting with, your grandpa or something, and they'll just say something, and you'll be like,
use the N-word or something.
No, not on that extent. I haven't had any old people say that to me, but
okay, then. Okay, then.
No, I mean, not that extreme, but like,
just have views a little bit weird.
Just little comments, like, you're just like, oh, look, what's that like black lady doing there or something? Like, you just have to point out that she's black. Like, what?
Yeah,
okay. What's the whole point of pointing it out? There's
they're a human being.
How does that contribute to the conversation? What does that bring to the table? Like, why is that even necessary? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know, just little things like that. It can be extreme, but generally it's just things that
little comments
that aren't realized, and little things like that get passed down between family members, and younger generations, they tend to have those types of feelings, like whether they realize it or not, because they're not taught otherwise, some of them. Now, I'm not saying everybody is, I'm not saying like these people are like, you're racist whether you know it or not.
Right.
No, it's not. That's not the case. No, we're not saying that at all. We're
making the point that the generations, as they go down, they tend to be less racist.
Yeah, but they can also contribute to how certain families feel about race. Maybe there's a type of, maybe there's racism there just because it's passed down. I don't know. It all depends on the family, but generally speaking, the older people tend to be a little bit like unfiltered when it comes to that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that too.
Yeah, I'm sure most people have. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like and this is back to the other thing. This is something we disagree on. I honestly, I wouldn't call it socialist though, dude. I wouldn't.
Okay.
Because these people are suffering. I mean, what do you do if your mom is like let's say you're a black kid and your mom's addicted to drugs and you're trying to get ahead in life. You've tried everything. But you are stuck in a crap hole. You know, and you can't get anywhere. Don't you think there should be some sort of program for that kid to get ahead? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there definitely needs
And not
to
be
be.
surrounded by meth and guns and.
I agree with you that there needs to be some form of help for
Yeah.
these people, but they cannot become reliant on these programs.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. One of the programs could be you offer them to come work at a place, and you offer them food stamps at first. But then,
Mhm.
as you start working more and more, you wean them off it,
Right.
and
Get
then the
them
job
to
starts
be
giving them money. The job starts
al-
giving them money
allow
as
them
incentive
to
to keep working.
yeah, allow them to become independent
Yes.
and be able to
Yes.
self-sustain themselves because
Yes.
like
They have to
you
rely on gains at some of them.
yeah, like or looting or and other crime.
Whatever, breaking and stealing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's horrible that they have to resort to that, but
Yes.
like Aiden was giving the example of like, some black mother that is like addicted to drugs or something. So what? Okay, get her some help.
Yeah.
Get her some psychological help, get someone to get a psychologist or psychiatrist. I forget which one, but
Mhm.
anyways, just get someone to, try to help them out mentally because it's a mental thing, and
Yeah.
trying to wean them off of the drugs. And you want to sit down to see where they're at because
Yes.
you want to make sure that they are that they want to change, that they want to become better people. They want to get away from the
That
drugs
life.
and stuff. They want to better themselves.
Yeah.
Isn't that the goal?
Yes.
Yes.
And a lot of these, and there was a reason why, though, I think that, and this is something else that I've been thinking about lately. I think there's a reason why there was so much resentment that black people have, like, towards us. Because it's like we haven't really, we've tried, but I don't really think, no. Okay, no, here's my point. My point is, this is what's weird to me, though, Jared, and you'll probably see this too.
Mhm.
If you drive into a place like Chicago and you offer help, they'll reject it. A lot of the time.
Hmm.
I don't know why that is.
I don't know either. I don't know much on that, so I can't really say
I think
much to
it's
that.
like it's like if you go and you're a white person and you go into a mostly black demographic like neighborhood,
Mhm.
they won't kill you, but they'll have a certain level of like putting your guard up kind of thing,
Yeah.
Like what's this guy coming to do? And I just want your opinion on why you think that is.
Wait, say that again.
Like if you're like a white person and you go into a predominantly black neighborhood, they're gonna immediately have their guard up. They get all defensive and stuff.
I don't know if that really the
In like the big cities, I mean. Places
don't
like
know.
Chicago, there's like a lot of gun violence and stuff.
I don't know. I don't believe that they're like completely like up in arms
No,
immediately.
no. But they're like really, like, in my eyes, they're kind of resentful.
Well, they kind of like give you weird, strange looks.
Weird
Like
looks,
why?
yes,
Yeah,
that's
like
what I mean. Yeah,
yeah, like why are you? What are you doing here? Sort of thing.
this isn't your turf kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. In it that self, it's racist.
That was gonna be my point. Like, it's kind of a reverse racism.
Yeah, it's like the what's misconstrued in the media. I know we're using that word a lot, but it's a good word to describe
It's
that. Like,
yes,
it's very
yes.
accurate. It's very misconstrued in the media with how they think that, like, okay, well, white people are the only ones that could be racist. No, that's not the case because black people can be racist, Asians can be racist, and
Yeah.
just anyone you can think of, it's like Indian people, it's like whatever, but all races can be racist against other races. Too many
Yeah.
R's.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, so it goes all ways,
Yeah.
So what they're saying right now is like they're trying to make us us white people trying to make us seem like we're the worst race to exist because we're so racist that
We hang people.
we hang people, we put people down, try to keep them down all the time, and they're not allowed to have success. You know what? If you look at America right now, you can't be as successful in some countries as you would be in America. Like America is,
Yes.
it gives you most opportunity that you possibly can.
Yeah.
Because if you go to some other countries that are, I know this is a little off topic, but socialist run countries, they tend to be a little like they try to hold you down purposely.
Venezuela.
Some of those places. You want to know why? Because like some of those places, high taxes. Like socialist countries have high taxes. That holds you down from succeeding when you can't, hold the money that you own, that you make. You know what I mean? All that money goes towards the government, most of it.
Yeah.
And that's like why in those countries, most people are the same level. Like same money wise. So like people,
I don't see a lot of jobs in those countries either.
They probably don't produce a whole lot of jobs because
In Venezuela, can you imagine?
Yeah, in like a capitalistic society like the United States, we create jobs because people like you and me come up with ideas to like, okay, I want to, like, what about Jeff Bezos? He created Amazon.
Richest man in the world.
Yeah, like he created so many jobs. Like you might be like, I resent this guy because he's a billionaire.
No, he's awesome. First of all, he's awesome.
No, he does a lot for people. So
Yeah.
I mean, obviously not everyone's perfect, but and we're gonna get into that, the like imperfections in people. But Jeff Bezos, he's done a lot for people. Got a lot of jobs that were created that weren't around before, and that's where all that opportunity comes from. I mean, that's scary, dude.
I'm being infected with the swamp ass.
Yeah. It's taking over. I can't control myself. No.
Oh, God.
Anyways. Like zoinks, man. Anyways.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I feel like in America, like you're looking some of these people are all looking at the negative and saying, well, okay, America is systemically racist. There's, they're trying to purposely keep black people down, or people of not the white race, they try to keep them down.
Yeah.
Well, there's more opportunity for them than there will be in any other country.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, I would think.
First of all, you have a homeless shelter.
Yeah, there's.
Go to.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's those services like the Akron Canton Regional Food Bank. Places like that. I mean, you don't want them to. Sorry, what'd you say?
As in, like, a haven of West End stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. They provide good services for people that are truly in need.
You don't have to resort to that, but I mean, you
don't want to. Obviously, I'm sure these people that go in there feel kind of ashamed that they have to go there, but they shouldn't.
Yeah.
It's if they need it, they need it.
Yeah.
I hope they don't have to feel like ashamed of going in. Just go in there. If you really need it, just that's. I don't have anything against it. Right. I just don't want people to be so reliant on it.
Mooch off it.
Yeah, because for example, I've talked to you about this before probably, but we talked about WIC cards before, right? Maybe at one point.
They're like food stamps, right?
Yeah, the food stamp card, the government gives, like, allocates money towards this so people can afford food for their kids and stuff. Well, some of these people, I hate to point them out, but it kind of seems like people that are abusing them. There's been examples. of certain people, like, I don't want to point them out. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I don't want to seem racist, or, stereotyping, but it seems like there were some Russian people that were doing it, scamming the government. They're going in and, they're just popping out babies left and right. And, yeah, that sound effect, exactly. And then before you know it, they have swamp ass. No, but they're like popping them out left to right, and then they're getting more money from the government for the more kids they have, they get more money, and they're doing it.
Holy honey, make those kids.
I mean, dude, they a lot of these people that are abusing the WIC system, they have jobs, under the table jobs. So they're making plenty of money, but they're like making more money since WIC is paying for the kids, and then they're just like, just make it. They're living the dream, the scammer's dream.
The Russians.
The Russians. Yeah. No, but
I had enough of this.
I had enough of this.
Oh, Vladimir Putin.
Oh, him and his weed brownies. Mom, why is there leaving
this? Oh, classic. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
so
yeah, that's not right at all.
Yeah, because for example, my grandma works at a grocery store, and she had some lady that came through. I believe she was a Russian lady. I was not there, but my grandmother said that that's what she was. So I would just go off of that. She was pregnant, and then she had like multiple kids with her, and she mentioned to her like more kids, more money or something. Like she said that like straight to my grandma. I'm like,
no, what?
I'm like, well, if you're just giving away that you're a scammer there, how stupid can you get? I mean, thankfully you're not like talking to some undercover cop, or something, but more babies, more money. That's how she put it.
That's
I guess no.
Oh my gosh. Like zoinks, you got swab ass.
Like, man, that's disgusting. Like you're gonna have to wipe it off. You got some Pride Month stuff going on in the background there on that balloon.
That's my birthday balloon. Shut up. I got it from the workplace.
It's Pride Month, I guess, right? Happy birthday! So long, gay Aiden. So long, gay Aiden.
No.
No more?
No more.
So long, gay
so. Oh my gosh.
I'll stop.
Oh my gosh. So seriously though, another issue I want to bring up though, dude, is this.
Mm-hmm.
And the imperfections. I want to bring this up too.
Are we talking
I have
about
a specific group of people in my mind? Yes. Okay. People seem to think that the founding fathers were these perfect, upstanding people who had no faults.
Right.
But you gotta remember, these people, and those are talking about the statue thing too. You gotta remember, these people own slaves. These people own slaves. I don't care how nice you were to them. I can own a dog. It'd be nice to my dog, but it's still a pet. Same thing goes for people. You could be as nice to your slaves as you want, but you're still owning a human being. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not right.
Right. No, I agree with you. And the founding fathers certainly are seen in the history books, from what I could tell. In the history books, they're portrayed as being, like these perfect human beings that are just our saving grace to America, I guess.
Yes.
You know, they're portraying him like that. If you ever, I'm sure most of you have had history classes in school, and that is generally, I think, what they try to portray to you, and
It's wrong.
it's wrong on many levels. You know, they're not perfect. They're just like you and me. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, we didn't own slaves, obviously, but
Right.
you know, there's it's just like how there's so many issues with, you know, how we operate as a society today. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a better society, I believe, in my opinion, than it was, you know, back at
Back
the
then.
founding.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, from the founding to today,
So
things have gotten progressively better.
so let me ask you this then, Jared.
Yeah.
Why should, because it's kind of hypocritical for them to say they were going to build a country on equality and freedom, but yet they themselves owned slaves. And
Yeah.
why should we look up to them?
Well, here's the thing. I think that at the time when it was written,
It was the culture, right?
it was the culture, and when they meant freedom, it was putting it in like the general sense, you know.
Freedom for all people, though.
At the time, though, they did not see slaves as humans, as like
And that's wrong.
they saw them as property.
Yeah.
I know, yes, yes, it is wrong, but slaves were seen as property. And if you ever recall, I know this is a little bit like diving deeper into, you know, slavery and stuff, but if you recall, and I remember hearing something about it with voting in the South,
Yeah, they
because
weren't allowed to.
the South wanted to count slaves, as this was leading up to the Civil War.
Okay, before it. Okay.
This is before it all went down, but they were wanting to count the slaves as a vote,
Okay.
or like you know, for people, for senators,
Okay. Okay.
and
So we'll run the country.
yes, they wanted to count like as their population.
Yeah.
So this was the tricky part. They wanted to count the slaves as part of the population, but the twist is they're not considered humans. They're considered property. So how are they considered people then? As like a head count?
They're not.
At the time,
That's
yeah, but
confusing.
it was just so stupid. Like the North was like, but you guys
Union.
don't, but you consider them as property.
Yeah. Like, okay, that's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, but why do you want to count them as like a head count? Like, you know, they're actually humans, but you treat them as property. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And the North was very confused about it. It's like, okay, well, you know, they're trying to, like, you know, reason with them because they don't want to go into a civil war.
Which we did.
You know, which we did, because obviously there was differences in how, you know, the North and the South ran. It was just a completely different economy. When you went South, it was, you know, farming and you know, and slaves. That was what ran the economy. If that's why they were so behind getting rid of slaves in the first place, was because it would basically ruin their economy.
Yeah.
And the North was going into manufacturing.
That we had factories and stuff.
We had people that were actually getting paid. They weren't
cotton gin.
Yeah, you know, that the cotton was moved up north for processing and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so the South moved it from there to the North, and, you know, that was just how it worked.
Yeah, and yeah.
You know, but anyways, what I'm trying to say is like, it was just seen as a normal thing at the time. You know, it was just part of their culture. I'm sure people realized, there was many people that realized it was wrong at the time.
But then why do we put statues of them up? I mean, isn't that in some way respecting them and their actions? Like, you put up a statue of, like, Robert E. Lee, for goodness sake.
I don't think Robert E. Lee in like saying if there was a statue in the North somewhere.
Yeah.
Of Robert E. Lee, I don't think that's necessarily the best idea.
Right, yeah, no.
I think it's more so the South, because he was like what represented them at the time, and he's part of history. I know, like,
No. My point is, My point is saying we look at all these figures as like heroes and stuff. When I
Yeah.
think we should just look at them as important people.
Yeah, so that's what
Like,
that's
don't put
that,
George
that, that
Washington on a pedestal and make a monument of him. Because he had problems. Just like you and me did.
yeah, but so did George Washington. So does it mean that George
No,
Washington shouldn't be memorialized?
That's what I just said. That's what I said. I said don't put Washington up on a pedestal because he had as much problems as any of the others did.
Although, when it comes to Robert E. Lee, that's more like gray area, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because
It's like a 50-50 thing.
yeah, because it's
Again.
because I could see what you're saying from that side. You're saying that Robert E. Lee, he was, he revolted. He's a rebel against America. He's committed crimes against our country.
Atrocities.
And
yet they put a statue up of him?
yeah, it's like I think that's I could believe what you're saying there. I see your side. I think maybe it's wrong. To have to like put him up in the first place.
Yeah.
Even more so if it was in the North. Like if they put it up, say in Ohio. Say in Ohio they had a Robert E. Lee statue, which I don't know if there is, but say there was.
Yeah.
That would be a little weird because the Ohio was as far north as you can get.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
we were Union, yeah.
Yeah, we were part of the Union, so that's just I see that as being more of an issue. But when you're going on the lines of George Washington and you're saying that George Washington should not be memorialized, that's not right. I think he should be.
Okay.
Because he has an important place in history, in founding our country. So he does deserve the praise that he is given. However, he does have faults, just like all these political figures have. But I feel like he definitely deserves to have a place in.
I agree with that. Then I agree with that. Then maybe the issue is we're telling that he's too perfect, and we should just point out his faults because they did have some.
I mean, yes, and I feel like. I mean, it was
history books don't tell you that.
I mean, you do remember in the history book them saying that George Washington freed his slaves, right?
Yeah, but he still had them, though. I mean,
but he freed them at one point. It's not like he kept them forever.
Right? Yes.
So
I mean, it's all a point for him now, but still, he still kept a human being, though.
Right.
I mean,
that's wrong, but just like how we look back at that
even
time,
even Abraham Lincoln, dude, had slaves for the first half of his life or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's someone who was influential in freeing the slaves. For goodness sake, he wrote the Emancipation Proclamation.
Right.
And yet he kept slaves? I mean, what's going on here? Kind of thing.
I think it's
like why such a switch?
Well, I think it's I don't know if I have an exact what sparked his change, but I would have to have articles on it and research it, which would take time. But I know that if going back to just saying that was the norm at the time.
Yeah.
So to condemn him for
being
owning slaves and just saying, well, he doesn't deserve the praise that we give him for freeing the slaves. No, because that was the normal thing at the time. I honestly
and
do
he learned
believe
from his mistake.
Yeah, and sure, we look back on it today and that's wrong. Yeah, slavery is wrong. I'm not saying it isn't. But what I'm saying is it was normal at the time. Just like what we do today is going to be considered wrong probably 5-10 years from now.
Why did they do what they did kind of thing?
Yeah. Why do we even debate whether, maybe 5-10 years down the road, they're going to be like, why did they even choose genders?
Yeah.
At birth. They're going to be like, we're just fluid, or something. It's just going to be at some point, everyone's going to be like, I'm going to choose my gender. when I'm 5
Yeah.
years old. Going back
Yeah.
to our last podcast.
Podcast, check
But,
that out. Yes.
Yeah, shout out to that. But no, it's going to be
Yeah.
the same way for looking back at us,
Yeah.
10 years later.
It just seems to me though, because the founding fathers had slaves, it leads me to assume that means that racism is deeply ingrained in our DNA, deeply, which
Yeah,
means it might not ever go away.
right, and that's the thing.
Because
It's
that's
like,
because that's one of the founding steps of our country. There's a problem with that, a huge problem.
right.
You know,
I
I mean, I'm sorry to say, but slaves kind of made this country grow, and there's a problem with that.
yeah.
And I'm sure you recognize that, Jared. I'm sure you
Yeah.
agree with me on that.
No, I agree that they had, a large part to play in getting the country where it is today, because the South would not be where, they wouldn't have made it as far probably without them.
Right.
And, a lot of infrastructure that was built was probably created by slaves, built by slaves.
And it's not just slavery against black people either.
No, yeah.
No, not slavery. I mean, not just racism. I mean,
Right.
but racist Native Americans as well.
And Asians.
Like the whole Manifest Destiny thing.
Yeah.
They try to create excuses for being absolute, like, a-holes to people. It's like, it's not right.
Right. Yeah, like I don't agree with how they treated Native Americans and like pushed them more west, and like the Trail of Tears and stuff like that. That was just.
But then we absolutely slaughtered them, dude. We slaughtered them in New Extinction, dude.
Yeah.
If you don't know.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But it's just. Yeah, that's messed up. Those are parts of our history that we wished to forget about. But, you got to look at it from the perspective as you cannot just forget about history that happened, because what happens, Aiden, when you forget about history?
It repeats itself.
Right.
Which leads us into the next topic that we're going to discuss, which is the tearing down of these statues, right?
Right. And Trump even said it himself on Twitter the other day or so. He said something along the lines of, history's doomed to repeat itself, if you just try to erase it. And he's completely right. Now,
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing there because I don't have it in front of me, but that's the gist of what he said,
Yeah.
And I completely 100% agree with him. And,
me too.
That's a true statement there, and I've been saying that statement for years. And if you are a very far left leaning person, you probably are with these people that want to erase history.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty extreme.
I have something to debate with you on that, though.
What's that?
They see this as the people that are tearing down these statues. Now, I'm not just trying to stir up a controversy, Joe. I'm actually trying to look at both sides of this. So the way they see it is that they see this as starting over.
And I have a lot of problems with that.
As forgetting, and
history's going to repeat itself, dude. This is just,
yes, but they see it as, they honestly, with their hearts, see this as a way to start over. Like, let's not hold on to this. We're holding on to something that is bad.
Well, we're not necessarily holding on to it. We're just using it as a reference for what happened in the past. And it's just, you know what I mean? Like, if we don't have anything to anchor ourselves on, we're just going to drift off in the sea and stumble upon another island and be like, okay, let's establish a government. All right, we need some people to help us, and then it's just going to be like, it's going to be a repeat. It's doomed to repeat history.
Yeah.
I mean, just, dude, look at what is going on with this, with these like ungoverned areas of Seattle.
Chaz, yeah.
Chaz. I mean, like, dude, like, they're trying to, I guess, start a new way of life in this place. But what's going to happen is that I mean, I'm not 100% certain, but what's possible is that they can start their own form of government there, and it they're going. I mean, dude, you're seeing crime inside these zones.
Shootings.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a perfect society. You're thinking of, okay, well, we're gonna try to recreate, start over. We're going to try to create a perfect society where everyone is equal and stuff like that. Okay, well, if that's the case, then why is crime going up? And there's rapes, murders, slaughtering.
That's not perfect.
Whatever.
That's not perfect. That's why, yeah.
Yeah, it's like.
But back to the statue thing, though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a problem with it as much if they were just tearing down Confederate statues.
Right. Yeah. They're. I mean, dude, like over in.
But that's not the case.
Yeah.
They tore down a statue of Ulysses S. Grant. Which,
that was
if you
dumb.
understand your history, that was stupid.
Yeah, because he went in there and tried to free the slaves and stuff.
For goodness sake, yeah.
He's working for America, trying to get us on the right footing. He worked for the North,
Yeah.
What
and then they're defacing the Lincoln Memorial.
And he's like on the same level.
Yeah.
He's tried freeing slaves. Like, what is going on with these people? They just look and they're like, okay, this person owned slaves. They're evil. Okay, but so did most of the people back then. They owned slaves. It was just the norm. You don't realize that, people. Like, just open your eyes.
Do you get woke?
Yeah, get woke on the
like for real.
Yeah. I mean, they claim they're woke, but they're not really, because if they were, they would realize what we're realizing.
Yeah.
If anything, we're woke.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to use that term because I see it as a derogatory meaning, but
really, why?
Because, people are just like ultra sensitive to everything, and they try to make it seem like, oh, that's racist. That offends me. You're going to have to take a step back. 6 feet, please.
I love that. That's awesome.
That's my interpretation of a woke person, okay?
Oh, goodness.
So,
That's funny.
Anytime you want me to do that, reenact it, I will. Just right now, this is just unacceptable. Our society is screwed up. Tear down Abraham Lincoln. It's like he's staring at me and it's making me uncomfortable. He's just sitting up on his chair and he's intimidating.
Oh, that was great.
So anyways, yeah, that's basically that's my interpretation of the woke.
That's gonna look great in the subtitles.
Yeah. It's probably gonna screw up so much.
Slow motion, it's gonna be amazing.
Oh gosh. No. What did I do? I'm adding fuel to the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Just what we didn't need. Yeah, really. That's gonna be in a funny moments if we can do it this year.
Yeah.
Which I'm P.S. I'm trying to work on that. Yes. So
okay.
Anyways, so let's talk about the statues a little bit more.
And then you think that's pretty much it?
That's probably it. But I do want to mention a closing statement for this part though.
For the statues, yeah.
Yeah.
So
for talking
let me ask you this, because I think there's a point where we disagree a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think the point where we disagree is what they feel. I think that they feel that they're trying to not have us hold on to a part of our history that we should look upon as horrible and we should forget. Mm-hmm. But you have a point. I mean, why are the Holocaust camps still up?
Right. Yeah. You look to other countries and you're like, well, they still have a lot of their history. I mean, not everything is perfectly preserved in these places, but they're still there. They didn't, they didn't completely tear it down and, build a garden or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like someone wants to put a statue of Chef Boyardee in Ohio.
Like what?
Chef Boyardee, what did he contribute to history? Okay, so he provided some delicious ravioli, but whatever, it's like, all right,
Can you imagine?
I want a statue of Campbell Soup,
Yes.
like, oh yeah, I want that in front of my yard. Actually, that's a good idea. No, but seriously, no, this is so stupid. It's like,
arches.
why?
I want a statue of Ronald McDonald.
And like, dude, they're changing. You were upset about this. They're trying to change the Splash Mountain ride at Disney World.
Yeah, I am so pissed.
That was such a good ride.
Oh,
are you farting?
Hold on a second. Oh,
you're gonna poop yourself, man.
I am. Oh my gosh, oh gosh.
If it says music in the subtitles, that'd be hilarious.
It does?
No, I mean when we upload it, it'll say music.
That's offensive. You just farted.
That's just offensive. Can you like mute your mic when you fart? The hand gestures are everything, dude.
Yeah.
Can you just like mute your mic when you fart? That's gross. I'm offended, honestly. Like, this is just... I'm going to go find a new club to hang out at. This is just like, stupid.
Oh, gosh, that's funny.
All right, let's stop.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, so I believe that, tearing down these statues, like, what is that going to solve? You know what I mean?
It's not going to solve anything, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Aiden, like you were saying, it's so ingrained in us as human beings. We're not saying that, just white people are ingrained
Evil.
with racism or something, No, the human race, as a
Is.
whole.
No, but I said the U.S. is. Because the fathers own slaves.
Actually, it stretches out farther than just the U.S.
It's the human race, yes.
The human race as a whole, because since the beginning of time, there's been racism in the way...
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's been slaves back, in Bible times. And, that's just a sign that racism has been all the way back then. Which
is why I hate, like when you said, Joe, that's why I hate when people said America invented slavery.
Yeah, and they're completely wrong because, dude, this whole referring back to history, it's just going to get worse. It's going to get more incorrect because people are trying to erase history. So you're going to be like, do you remember when Chef Boyardee founded the U.S.? Oh yeah, I remember that. No, that was not Chef Boyardee that founded the U.S. You dimwit. You just erased history. You dingus. You just tried erasing history. You forgot about George Washington, one of the most important people to the U.S. It's like,
can you imagine if that's actually in a history book?
Yeah, dude, because this is what they're doing. They're literally trying to erase history and trying to make everything look like everything is hunky-dory. Everything is just hunky-dory. And, I'm
here at Starbucks on my gay pride.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like they're trying to make it...
sorry, guys.
They're trying to make it seem like everything's hunky-dory. Dude, the world is not perfect, okay?
Right.
And trying to make the U.S., rewrite history and make the U.S. seem like they are
the bad
amazing.
Guys.
No, amazing. They're trying to
amazing.
They're trying to rewrite it and restart all the bad things we did. Trying to make it seem like everything was perfect.
We need to acknowledge those things.
Yes, and I believe that it's right to keep track of history, and you got to look back on that stuff because, like we said, history is doomed to repeat itself if you don't.
Then let me ask you this then, Joe, because I asked you this a little bit before.
Right. Okay.
So we have put statues up of those people in the first place then. People like Robert E. Lee. People like, was it right to commemorate those people?
I don't like how they're commemorating Robert E. Lee. Necessarily, because Robert E. Lee was considered a criminal, because he committed, I don't know what the exact
he committed atrocities.
Atrocities. He went against the United States, I really, he's a criminal.
He's a
I mean,
rebel.
it's just,
He's a rebel.
I mean, yeah, he's a rebel. It's just like how, they make these TV shows, they glorify some of these criminals on television.
Like Criminal Minds, yeah.
No, I mean actual realistic ones, like they make like Netflix documentaries over these like criminals and try glorifying them, making them seem like, oh, they're so
Making 'em
awesome.
murderer.
Just watch it. Like showing
Carol
all these.
Baskin.
Yeah, Carol Baskin. Just like, yeah, I mean Tiger King, even he's a criminal himself. Like, making a that's just an example there. That's just one example, but showing Tiger King in a documentary, like TV show kind of series, it really glorifies.
It's pandering.
Yeah, it's glorifying a criminal,
Yeah.
that was clearly in the wrong. But why are you you're making money off this guy? He's probably getting money,
Mm-hmm.
Somehow from Netflix. He's probably getting paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Oh no, he's probably getting a lot of money now, like millions.
Yeah, and he's obviously he can't use it. He's in prison, but he's still making money. Like the whole point is that he's receiving money from it. He's being glorified.
He's gonna have a lot to do when he gets out.
Yeah, I mean, some criminals they glorify him, but they're dead already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But still, the whole point is that they're making them seem like they're like awesome or something.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, which that's wrong. And I believe that same thing applies for Robert E. Lee. He's considered a criminal. So why are you glorifying him? I understand he's part of your history. I'm not saying to erase him. Don't erase him from history.
No, he's a Confederate general.
Yeah. Don't erase him from history. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is
acknowledge that he's an evil person.
Yes, acknowledge the fact that he's done wrong, that he's especially a criminal. But don't make a statue of him.
But said that's already been done. Let's not resort to violence to tear it down.
Yeah, and I'm with Trump when he was saying it's time to get these guys in the maximum sentence that they can. For these people that are tearing down statues, because Trump signed an executive order just today or yesterday or something, as of the recording. He signed an executive order to get the maximum sentence for these people who are tearing down statues.
Which is what?
Like 10 years or something.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Yeah,
do it. That's going to scare people from tearing down. Dude, they're doing nothing against these people.
Can you imagine that
they're just
what I find funny is that the people in the UK that tore down a statue of Lincoln. I mean, yeah, you come from the UK, but like,
you should still know
your history.
You should still know what this man has done for the United States. Sure, yeah, he's not a perfect human being, just like everyone else, but he did a lot of good things. He wasn't a criminal. Right. That's for certain. I
agree with you on that.
I think there's a clear line between Robert E. Lee and Abe Lincoln.
And Lincoln, exactly, yes.
I mean, yeah.
Robert E. Lee didn't change his views.
Yeah. And how people don't realize this, I don't know. And some governments are not penalizing these people for tearing down statues. That's property you're defacing.
Some news outlets are glorifying it, actually.
Yeah, they're like, oh, this is a good job. Good job. Good job tearing it down. That's really solving racism, guys. Good job.
Not only did they tear it down, but one of the ones I saw was like a blonde statue. They tore it down and then they started kicking it and rolling it down the street.
Yeah. And
before putting it into like a harbor or something.
There was even a statue that was being torn down. There was a protester that was close to the statue. They were pulling it down, and the statue fell on the person.
Yeah,
almost killed him. I don't know if he died or not. I would have to look that up.
You know what makes me mad though, dude?
Yeah.
The tearing down statues. I just mentioned this, but what really pisses me off and gets my gear.
Grinds my gears.
I saw a video where they started burning the American flag. That actually makes me mad. That stirs me up when I see that. Burn our flag.
Yeah. Same thing with kneeling during the national anthem. That's also been a problem. They also want to change the national anthem. Did you know that?
I don't want to change it, but actually my view on that has changed a little bit, actually.
Really?
Funnily enough. Yeah.
So you want to...
I used to think that kneeling was doing bad, but they're not doing it for the reasons that you think.
How so?
We used to think that they were doing it to disrespect the anthem.
No, I thought they were doing it to protest police brutality.
Yes. So let them. I mean, the message, they don't hate the country. They don't hate the United States. They're trying to stop police brutality,
But
which
there's
is a
there's
problem.
different ways to do it. What is doing the national anthem, like during the
You're
national
going to get
anthem,
more views. Like, take the Super Bowl, for example.
that's the
If
only
you're
reason why
doing
they're
a
doing it,
national anthem
dude.
for Super Bowl, that's going to get a lot of people to recognize your message in just a
And
few protests.
and what have I said in the past? I said, do not.
That's not good.
I repeat, do not show that on television. Don't even show the
Why
national
not?
anthem on television, because it's going to show these people protesting. They want that media attention. Don't air it.
That's not good. If that changes a racist country, that's not good. I mean,
But there's more meaning behind the American flag than police
yes.
brutality does not have
Then
really
maybe they
anything to
should
do
back
with
it
it.
up with that. Maybe they should be leading the interviews and saying,
Because
instead of just doing it, they should, Colin Kaepernick, instead of being an a-hole and just kneeling, maybe should afterwards explain, listen, this is my meaning behind it.
how about he does his dang job? He's out of a job. Guess that. Because guess what?
Yeah.
Nobody likes that. All right.
Yeah.
And as an American, I see the American flag as more important. I don't see an equal sign between American flag and police brutality. There's no equal sign there. There's actually a do not equal sign, because you know what? The American flag, I see it as the men who died for our country serving, the
Obviously, yes.
people that have tried to protect us and are currently protecting us. And it's like,
It's just a slap on the face.
it's a slap in the face to all of the people who are serving our country. That's why, that's the problem I have with it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm perfectly fine with you protesting, against police brutality. I have nothing against that. That's your American right to do so. But to do it against the national anthem and our flag, that is wrong. There's clashes
And then for
between
them to televise it for all to see.
Yeah, so that's why I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, if they want the media attention, then they're not going to get it. I say, say you're Fox Sports and there's an Indians baseball game, and there's people kneeling like baseball players.
That's what's funny, is that
something.
it hasn't really been baseball that's been doing it.
It's
supposed to have been football,
which is weird. Yeah, like during the national anthem played at baseball games, they'll air it on TV sometimes on Fox Sports Ohio.
You see them all standing.
Yeah.
Especially the NFL.
Because guess what? They actually respect it. And the NFL, they don't like this kneeling during the national anthem either. You know why? It's bad for business. Less money.
But they're the sport that's been doing it the most, though. So.
But do you know why they're losing money, though? Because less views. People
the ratings are going down. The ratings.
Yeah, like just a couple years ago when Colin Kaepernick, like when this was really at the height of the kneeling during the national anthem, the views for NFL went down dramatically.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was clear that some people were like, I'm never watching another NFL football game. You guys screwed up. You guys really
that was my view at first too, but I mean, the more I look at it, man, I'm sorry, but it's because of the message. I don't have a problem as much with it.
I don't know. If you're looking at it on the face surface as not being as being like, okay, you're just protesting police brutality, it's simple as that. Yeah, then maybe you can just say that, but I see it as more than that, though. You're defacing, going back off of the defacing statutes, you're defacing the people who fought for our rights as Americans.
Okay, I understand that then, yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
I understand that.
Well, I mean, dude, why do we have a Memorial Day? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, we're saluting to the people who fought for our country. Like, I honestly, I don't know. I get emotional when it comes to.
Oh, dude!
I like the national
I cry
anthem.
every Memorial Day. Yes.
The national anthem gets me teared up every time.
We did it at Mission Barbecue a couple of days ago. Me, my dad, and my siblings went to the Mission Barbecue, and every day at 12 o'clock at noon sharp, they play the national anthem.
Yeah.
And everyone at the restaurant stands up. and I did too.
Yeah, and that's
It's
the
just
right
I
thing to do.
also though understand though what they were doing though when they were kneeling. I also understand that. I mean,
Yes, I
because I'm
understand.
not okay with it, but I
Yeah.
understand the reasoning.
Right. Yeah, I understand the
Yeah.
reasoning, but I think there's a better way to do it.
Yeah.
All right, so something else that is kind of bouncing off of the coronavirus, and you wouldn't think that the coronavirus would have much to do with the
George Floyd.
protest or anything, or George Floyd,
Yeah.
but it does apparently, because recently, if you've been paying attention to the coronavirus headlines, which I don't normally I don't monitor like 24/7. I'm not like on my computer like, okay, let's see how much death counts are for today. No, I don't monitor this stuff, dude.
Crazy
Like
person.
I look at the notifications. Like I get notifications for like, oh, here's the death count in Ohio today. Here's the cases, the number of cases today. Which I'm sure you believe me, the cases are inflated.
Oh yeah.
Or I mean the deaths. The deaths are
Mhm.
inflated because a lot of these
By a bunch.
COVID deaths are incorrectly counted as COVID deaths because
Yeah.
someone that died of, say a car accident, their injuries of a car accident, if they are found to be COVID positive, and after they die, then they're like, oh, that's a COVID death.
Yep.
Mark it off.
Did
Even
you
though
know that they were counting someone who had COVID but was shot by a gun? They were counting that as a COVID death.
Yeah, I believe it. You know why?
That's
Because
crazy.
apparently the hospital gets more funding
Money.
every time they
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about something though that's specific to two people. Well, two topics. First of all, we're gonna talk about how the protests have been amping up the cases, but we're also gonna talk about something that Fauci's been doing that we don't like.
Yeah, so recently the country's been reopening slowly but surely.
Yeah.
The government's been opening back up.
My
Businesses are
McDonald's still
trying.
hasn't yet.
Yeah, certain
Sorry, guys.
businesses are a little slow to it. I don't know if it's like just certain guidelines that need to be followed, and maybe the business
All
hasn't.
for my McDonald's, Jared, for example, all of our locations have to follow the guidelines. Until that happens, you can't open back up.
Gotcha. That's
Yeah.
what I figured. But anyways, so businesses are starting to open back up. The obvious thing would be that the economy starts doing better.
Yeah.
That's pretty obvious. So that started to happen, and then all of a sudden, just recently, out of nowhere, Dr. Anthony Fauci was called in to talk about how the number of cases are rising in America or something. I don't know, something along those lines. And it's just like, okay, that's obvious.
That's to be expected.
Do I need to know that? Do I need you to tell me that the cases are rising?
And how relates to George Floyd is because they were rising due to the protests.
Yeah, protests, and not just the protests, because you can't just blame it on that, but like the government just opening back up. Because obviously, when
businesses, yeah,
the businesses opening back up, so more people are
to
going
more
to go
customers.
Shopping. Yeah, so obviously more contact is going to happen, even with social distancing in place. People are still going to get infected with it.
Yeah,
it's pretty obvious, and I don't need Fauci to tell me that.
But why is this stupid though? Why did we say that this was a little bit weird?
It's a little weird because the economy starts doing better, and then Fauci's brought in to talk about the coronavirus. But
it's almost like you don't want the economy to
do good.
Yeah.
And what does that mean? That might mean that they're trying to divert attention from the protests to try to because Trump's starting to succeed here because his economy is doing a little bit better. And so they're trying to tear down his economy again, be like
another attack of Trump.
Yeah, another attack on Trump. Whether you think it is or not, it kind of looks like it. I mean, if you think about it, because they're always after Trump with every little thing.
And fun fact, Fauci was under Obama.
Yeah.
So
that's even more suspicious.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I don't know. I really don't know what they're trying to do. They might be trying to get everything shut down again. Because some places are shutting back down.
You think that'll happen?
It's already happening. Some bars and like
Oh.
nightclubs and stuff, they're being forced to shut down.
This virus is ruining us.
Yeah, and then
This is literally, I think it's the apocalypse.
so they're
like it.
they're shutting down these businesses, and then but these protests are not shut
They
down.
let them go.
Yeah, they just let them keep going. I mean,
No
sure,
social distancing.
yeah, no social distancing, very close, to
Quarters.
each other, and yelling, and occasionally,
Spitting
spit
on
goes
people.
flying, and
Mm.
cases, they're just spreading the Rona, man.
Yeah, that's just. Oh, and another thing that we were going to talk about is the funeral.
Yeah, and
Like,
the
funerals are not banned, but looked down upon right now, right?
they might
A
have
lot of them.
they might have loosened the restrictions, but I'm pretty sure it was like banned at one point, like large gathering.
Gatherings. And yet the George Floyd funeral had literally thousands of people and nothing happened.
Yeah, they didn't like say no, you couldn't be there. They just allowed them to do it.
Like, okay, that's kind of political.
Yeah, that's a little weird. There's a little hypocrisy going there because you're allowing, one person to have a whole bunch of people at their funeral, and then but like not just the average Joe going to visit, like his grandma just passed away, so it's like you can't be there for that. Like there's only like maybe like 7 people that can be there at a funeral like before things started to open back up.
Yeah.
And, all those people were at George Floyd's funeral. That's more than 7 people there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, for certain.
That's very hypocrisy. Like that's a lot of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, it's like if you're going to, shut down businesses, then you need to be shutting down these protests because they're just as just as much to blame for the spread of the
consistent.
coronavirus. Yeah, be consistent with how you treat this, because sure, it's going to make a lot of people upset, the protesters, that's just going to fuel it even more, probably make more people mad. But the thing is, you're upsetting people with their businesses. They're not going to have any livelihood. They're going to be on the streets before you know it. How are they supposed to make a living,
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, I don't know. It's messed up.
Yeah. Very messed up.
So you have anything else to say on that, Aiden?
No. We're good.
Yeah. So is there what else? Do we have anything else, or did we cover?
Just one little thing. Like just one little thing. We're gonna talk like very briefly, but I had this thought up just now actually. People have not been making a distinction between the Black Lives Matter movement and the group
Okay.
themselves. The group themselves are a bunch of Marxists, I think.
Mhm.
Because Ben Shapiro talked about this. He talked about how there needs to be a distinction between the name Black Lives Matter, like the term, the movement, and the group.
Yeah.
So, like, saying Black Lives Matter shouldn't be one to say. But the group has made it into something where now it's considered weird to say that if you're a white person. You know?
Yeah, and the thing is, like, although if you disagree with the group, then you're considered racist.
Right, yes. Yeah.
Yes, and you can't say like, oh, well, there's a difference in the group versus the movement. No, you can't say that apparently, because you're considered racist either way.
Yeah.
It's messed up, but I see it as like they're disguising themselves as
Antifa?
Black Lives Matter.
But they're Antifa.
Something like
Really?
that. But like,
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know specifically like exactly Antifa, but they're disguised as as Black Lives Matter, but they have a different goal in mind.
Yeah.
They're
Chaos.
It's chaos. It's not trying to make people equal in any
They
way.
want the world to burn.
Yeah, they might on the surface say that, but there might be more to it.
Right. Yeah. So that was like a little thought that I had. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah, so
definitely agree with you.
To wrap this up into a little bow, Joe, to wrap this up, so what's your view on racism in this country?
Well, I think it's definitely an issue that, needs to be, fixed. It's not something that can be done overnight, like,
It's very complex.
there's more, it's been like referring back to what you were saying, it's ingrained in our DNA basically, because and that's not saying everyone's racist, but it's saying that,
Part of that country's history.
it's and part of the world's history.
Yeah.
So it's not only a U.S. problem, but it's also a world problem. And, people are making it seem like America is the most racist country on earth, and that's not true.
That's not the case.
There's more countries that are worse off than we are,
Yeah.
And I think that's, for saying that they don't have any opportunity here. Yeah, they do. There's more opportunity here than they would in other countries. So,
yeah, I understand that.
Yeah. So what are you thinking? Wrap it up, Aiden.
Basically the same thing as you. I mean, I know we've disagreed about a little bit of things, but that's nice because it offered a little bit of a debate.
Yeah.
Which is good. Yeah.
I
just still think that there was a little bit of systemic racism in this country, but again, I think it is because of the ingrainment.
Yeah.
But I think that there were things that we can do to fix it, but tearing down statues is not one of them.
Yeah, not the answer. Erasing history will
Don't tear down
solve
statues
it.
of Jesus either.
Oh yeah, that was another.
That was another thing. Like, why would you?
Saying...
What does Jesus have to do with George Floyd?
Apparently, it's a white supremacy symbol. Apparently, Jesus is.
Sean Kane, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
If that happens, that's too much.
Yeah. It's gotten crazy.
Yeah, the world's going to crap, dude. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we
if
hope
we don't get our crap together.
We hope that this is over soon.
Oh yeah.
And the coronavirus. That's another thing.
Yes, please.
Please
be over. Yeah, please.
Herd immunity or something,
Yeah, which is what we should have been doing in the first place, I think.
What?
Herd immunity.
Yeah, problem is everyone was so sheltered in place that it was like no one was getting
contact to it.
Yeah, so like there was no immunity to it for some of these people, and then all of a sudden, people start going back out in the world, and of course cases are going to go up because that's just like if you constantly wash your hands and never allow yourself to take germs in, you're never going to have immunity to anything.
Like
you're going to be so susceptible to illness, you have to be able to, allow your body to fend off, different illnesses on its own.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be careful, obviously, but you got to allow your body to remember how to fight this stuff off.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So.
This podcast.
Yeah, so please do subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, because we noticed that there's a lot of people that have been watching our podcast and have not subscribed. I know who you are.
Come on, guys.
I know who you are.
We're coming after you.
We're coming for you next.
Yeah.
So anyways, dude,
okay.
I think that's it for this podcast, guys. So that was episode 40, hopefully, of our
if it doesn't mess up that counting again.
Oh.
Wait, you have to redo it, probably.
Yeah, please, no more. I already fixed it. I hope.
Yeah.
All right, so see you guys next time.
See ya.